Yo, 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 yo. What's going on, people? Check this out, right? I got a question to ask. And that question is, what happened to hip hop? Or did it just grow up? For the last decades, it's been one sentence that ran through barbershops, group chats, comment sections, right? And that one thing that ran through them sections and more was hip hop ain't what it used to be. Some say it's lost its lyricism. Some say it's lost its authenticity. Some even say hip hop sold its soul. But before we could say the genre is really dead, we need to ask the question is, did hip hop get worse or did it just become something different? This isn't a defensive piece claiming that everything in today's society concerning hip hop is genius. This is not a nostalgic piece talking about, oh, just the good old days. No, it's not. It's actually a deeper look into what actually changed culturally, economically, technologically, you feel me? And why so many people feel like something was lost. And you know why? Because something did change. The real question is, what changed? But before we get into that, right, I want to welcome y'all back to the Think Big or Don't Think It All show. If you ain't thinking big, you thinking small. Pause. It's your boy, Thinkbiggoldie. You know me. I need you to like, hype, comment, subscribe. Hit that button OD until you OD. Now, let's get it in. Now, we're going to get into the one of the first points that I wanted to point out, right? And I titled it From Counterculture to Corporate Powerhouse. And if y'all don't know about hip hop, for all y'all that's not in this genre, let me break some things down to you. You know what I mean? And yes, I had to write this stuff down because it's a lot that we got to get through. You feel me? But check this out. Hip hop, it was born in the Bronx in the 70s. It was an act of oppression. You know what I'm saying? In certain communities, in the poor communities, basically. It wasn't built in boardrooms. It wasn't shaped by shareholder meetings. No. It wasn't optimized for algorithms. That's not what what hip hop came to be, you dig? It was local, it was raw, it was competitive, and it was community. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop ain't just start with rapping. You dig? Hip hop also deals with graffiti. It also deals with breakdancing. You dig? You know what I'm saying? Do your history. Do your history. But we gonna fast forward to today. And hip hop in today is the most literally is the most dominant genre in global music. It ain't no longer underground. No, we crossed over to the hot 100 to keep it all funky. We crossed over. It's not rebellious in the same way. You know what I'm saying? So hip hop, what I mean by that, it's not rebellious in the same way. Hip hop, you had to stand. You know what I'm saying? You stand up, son. It was like the only way for certain people to get their voice out. You feel me? It's not fighting for mainstream acceptance. Hip hop was never about fighting to be for the mainstream. You feel me? But on the contrary, hip hop, it is the mainstream now. We just gonna call it spade a spade. Hip hop is the mainstream now. And you know what? Once that shift happened, the incentives changed. Everything changed. When hip hop became the most profitable genre in the world, major corps began treating it like any other business, any other asset. That's what major corporations started doing. They didn't care about the roots of it. They didn't care about none of that. So platforms like Spotify, Apple, they didn't care about the cultural impact. They cared about the engagement metrics. And you know why they cared about the engagement metrics? Because the engagement metrics bring money. And you know what engagement means? Let me break this down to you in a musical form. Engagement means how long people listen, how often they replay it, whether they skip it or not, whatever. Y'all know the analytics and the YouTubes and all of that. Y'all know what's going on. And because all of these things happens, it changes the way art is made. And why I say it changes the way art is made is because now people ain't making it for the art no more. You know what I'm saying? You're making it for the bag. And I'm not sitting there saying people don't do things for the bag, but when it ain't coming from the heart, when I just gotta do this song or do whatever just to make a certain bag, you're taking away from the authenticity of it. You feel me? And when the revenue depends on replay value instead of album sales, songs get shorter. You feel me? Songs went from 3 verses in hip hop to 2 verses. Now it's getting broken down to damn near 1.5, damn near a verse. You know what I'm saying? A verse and a hook. You feel me? The hooks became faster. Like I told you, the verses got shorter. They got tighter. And the algorithm rewards something familiar. So now if you in the algorithm, of course they're gonna pop you up. Of course you want to see that. So because you made this type of song and made this type of thing, you're thinking algorithm, 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 right? This, that, and the third. So now that's all you thinking. So you going in the studio and you going in the studio to quote unquote work. And I'm gonna keep it a stack. You going in the studio to work. You're not going in the studio to be creative. That's the problem. Y'all go in the studio to work. What happened to the creativity? So because you going to work and you working to chase this algorithm, man. This is part where hip hop started losing its core. It started from being, alright, this is the block joint, this is what we doing, or we going to other hoods, we the best rapper, we this, that, and the third, or we the best break dancers. You know what I'm saying? We the best graffiti artists, we tagging our name. It lost the love of that. We was doing that for, you know what I'm saying? Yo, this is us. This is what we talking about. This is how we express ourselves. Y'all gotta understand what's going on, people. You feel me? You know what I mean? But yet, I got another point. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna get into point two. And point two, as far as this topic of what I'm talking about, is the algorithm era. When the data became the A&R. Yeah, I'm gonna say it again. The next point I'm gonna get into is the algorithm era when data became the A&R. Check this out. You know, in earlier eras, artists were developed. They was given A&D deals. And they was giving these A&D deals so the artists could own their skills locally. Before that label that gave you that A&D deal actually invest in you, you feel me? So they had to develop you. They had to throw a couple songs out there, this, that, and the third. And you know, I'm gonna tell you one person I seen in artist development in these past, say, 10 to 15 years. And one person that was in artist development when I was working this circuit was J. Cole. They threw J. Cole in that artist development. Trust me, they threw him in there. He had to go to certain joints before he was known and get his name up. You feel me? So again, this algorithm. Now the algorithm is the scout. The algorithm is the ones that go and scout talent. If you don't know what I mean, check this out, right? A snippet could go viral on TikTok. And suddenly, all of a sudden, all of these big labels is rushing in. You feel me? From a 15-second clip. And that 15-second clip nowadays can determine your career or could determine a career. Real nigga shit. You feel me? That shifts the priorities. When that happens, it shifts the priorities. So instead of building full narratives, building that artist, crafting certain albums to make an album, you know the problem is with albums back then, if you go and listen to the albums back then, the albums told the story. It told the story, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? So all of this priority shift mess up the craft of creating a classic album. It messes up perfecting a live performance. These artists don't even practice no more on how to do their stage performance. These artists don't even have media training. They talk like they literally have no education, bro. They can't even type right. They can't even spell. You dig? You feel me? So now the artists really focus on creating moments. They're not creating a classic song, they're creating a moment. A moment. They're designing quotable lines. You feel me? They're making songs that just loop well. It doesn't necessarily mean that it has to have any type of substance. You feel me? When the most valuable part of a song is the clippable section, the depth of the song becomes secondary. Now they just looking for, again, the clickbait, the clickbait, the clickbait. You feel me? That is crazy, you dig? It's crazy. And is that the worst? Or is it simply just a reflection of a generation raised on fast content? Everything is microwave right now. You feel me? That's my little take on this algorithm era and what's going on. If I'm wrong, if y'all disagree with me, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. Now I'm getting to my third point. And my third point I literally titled the loss of regional identity. Yeah, the loss of regional identity. Let's get to that. You know, in the 90s, early 2000s, hip hop had a strong geographic identity, you feel me? And what I mean by that is like, look, New York had boom bap, West Coast had G funk, the South had trap and crunk. The Midwest had what you would call speed flows. You feel me? These scenes were localized. You dig? Sound was tied to that one specific place. You knew who came from the Midwest. You knew E40 was from the Bay Area. You feel me? You knew certain things because of certain sounds, B. But today, the internet flattened all of that. The internet made everything one. You don't know who the fuck is from where and doing what, this, that, and the third. A producer in Norway could make an Atlanta style beat in 20 minutes, you feel me? A rapper from Toronto, no pun intended with Drake, could sound like they from Houston. You dig? The collaboration now happens instantly, one, because of technology. So globalization, it really brought access to the game. It brought more access. It did open up doors to the game, but it also diluted the regional distinctiveness. And like I said, you don't know who the hell is who and from where and did what to whatever. You just hearing things. You feel me? You feel me? You know, the uniqueness that was once created. You know what I'm saying? When you had just sections, that uniqueness, it created tension. You know what I'm saying? You felt like, yeah, you was the best of the people looking at you. It created pride. You know what I'm saying? You felt proud. Yo, this is my city. This is where I'm from. I'm repping it. You dig? And innovation. You wanted to come up with new things. You want to try new things, this, that, and the third, to be different. You did. You really did. And without strong regional scenes, without a strong hold on a regional scene that you could tell where it's from, music can feel more homogenous. It really can. But it really also means that the genre is no longer confined. Loss and expansion happen at the same time. Y'all get that, right? Loss and expansion with hip hop literally happen at the same damn time. And now we left to figure it out. You dig? Now we left to figure it out. That was my third point to this. The loss of the regional identity. You feel me? Now my fourth point that I'm getting to is quantity over craft. Yeah, y'all heard right. Quantity over the craft. That's a problem. Let's get it in. Now, with this quantity over craft thing, I'm tying in this ever right now, what's going on. So with the quantity over craft, I gotta say something about the streaming services. You feel me? Because the streaming, it just doesn't reward replay. It rewards frequency. So do you see quantity over craft? Again, the streaming services don't just reward replay, they reward frequency. You know, artists are encouraged to drop more singles, release deluxe editions, extend track lists. You dig? You know, in the CD era, artists had, I could say, years between albums. You know what I'm saying? To get it together. But today, if an artist is silent, the people are translating that into irrelevance. You know what I'm saying? And the results with the quantity over craft just equals over saturation. You dig? It really does. When thousands of songs can be uploaded daily, the average quality of perception really decreases. People really don't care because there's so much shit going on. There's so much music out there and everybody can do it. But it ain't because talent disappeared. It's not. It's because the volume of music exploded. Like I said, everybody can do it. So why do I just wanna be tied down to this artist when it's a million artists that literally doing the same exact shit because they could just press the button. They don't have to go through no loopholes or anything like that. Where you could take another artist verse, put this verse on that person's song without changing any BPM, frequency, or vibes. It's oversaturated. Everything is starting to sound alike. You dig? So back then we mostly heard the artists who survived the label, who survived the artist development, who survived the going outside, the ciphers, the radio interviews, or the small joints like that. These people had media training. These people, the artists that we seen in, we looked at them as gods. And why we looked at them as gods? Because it was like, oh shit, it was like perfection. You feel me? So the barrier, the wall to enter this hip hop game right now has diminished. You don't gotta go get studio time no more. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta book that session at car when you got a stew in your house, you think? Which is a positive thing. You don't really need your industry connections because of everything that you already got access to. Now, you don't have to have physical distribution. It's no more pressing up CDs. You ain't got to go get a CD maker if you independent and try and press up 100 CDs within the hour and things like that with the cover and things like that. You feel me? The democratization is very powerful. The democratization of hip hop is very powerful. But the same democratization means things are going to come out average because the average gets equal access on them platforms that the elite has, especially if you got a budget behind you. You feel me? So the quantity over the craft, that's what's wrong with hip hop right now. Everybody's chasing an algorithm. Everybody's trying to get something out there, and it's no longer about, hold on, this song gotta make sense. It's no longer about the hook gotta match the verse. The verse gotta match the hook. You could have a hook talking about one thing, saying something in the hook, and it sound catchy. You could have a hook talking about females, this, that, and the third, but in your verse you shooting up bang bang, or you could shoot up bang bang, then want to have a hook about some positive shit. What when what are we doing here? And I like not to take shots at him, but like for the song "Emotionally Scarred" that Little Baby has, the song is fire, hands down. The song is fire. But if you go and listen to it, it doesn't even add up. It doesn't add up. The title don't add up. The hook, it just don't add up to the verses, man. You know what I'm saying? It's the quantity over quality, bro. Like it's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? And that was my fourth point. Now my fifth point that I'm gonna get to the problem with hip hop is the shock culture and desensitive nature of the game right now. I couldn't even say the word. The desensitive nature of the game right now. This is my fifth point. You feel me? And let's get it in. You did. So now we talking about, to my other point, like I said, shock culture and how the game is desensitized. You feel me? Hip hop always contained bravado, aggression, and excess. But as controversy became the profitable thing, the number one thing, the extreme of things escalated OD. It just escalated out of this world. Over time, certain themes like violence, hypermaterialism, sexual talk, or being sexually exploited stop shocking audiences. The shock value of it is like, okay, you said that, whatever, it's normal. You feel me? And when the shock becomes normal, repetition feels hollow. It feels empty. You see it, but it ain't nothing in it. You dig? Some people that listen interpret that hollowness as a cultural decay, as it is like, all right, yo, it's decaying, but it may simply just be saturation. You feel me? It may just be the saturation of it. So we not even shocked anymore by certain things that we hear musically. We're not. It's just like, okay, such and such got shot. Okay, such and such got pissed on. Okay, You know what I'm saying? Such and such done got the train ran on them and hit that. Okay. This person got 13 baby mamas in it. Okay. Like, so it's not even a shock value with this shit. So it's like the celebrity ain't the celebrity no more. You dig? It just really ain't. You know what I'm saying? And again, you don't agree with me, or you do agree with me, or you do have a different opinion. Put that in the comment section. I'm asking because we talking about hip hop, people. We really are. You feel me? I'm not trying to keep y'all here for a long time. It's just this is a topic that needs to be talked about. You know what I'm saying? Now, another point that I'm gonna get to concerning this hip hop culture is nostalgia. It's a powerful editor. Yeah, y'all heard me. Nostalgia. It's a powerful editor. Check this out, right? When people say hip hop was better in the 90s or 2000s, you know why they say that? Because they remember classics. They remember the innovators. They remember the game changers. Nowadays, now in this era, y'all tell me who got a classic? Who got really classics out there that we going back to and like, damn, like yo, this shit was fire. I remember what I was doing and da. We don't got that value. We don't have that. Hip hop doesn't have that impact like that. You feel me? They forget. They forget the mediocre artists who didn't go well with hip hop. You feel me? That's what the nostalgia do. We forget the mediocre artists that ain't do well. Like, who? You know what I'm saying? Like, who? You know, history filters. History is a filter. It filters out the average people. And this is where you get the comparison side. You know what I'm saying? It filters out the average. And this is why a lot of people compare. Y'all talking about music now, but this is what's going on. Not to sound crazy, and I know, you know what I'm saying, music evolves. But when it comes down to hip hop, a rapper's a rapper. Point blank, period. Lyrics are lyrics. That's the problem with hip hop. We let everybody come in and try to change shit. But once you a rapper, you're a rapper. You gotta rap. You know what I'm saying? You can't be a rapper talking about, I only rap in the studio. I only rap when the beat is on. I only do this. I'm not really a rapper to be in a cipher. Nigga, you ain't a rapper. You ain't a hip hop artist, you dig? You ain't a hip hop artist. That's why in our era, in that not 90s 2000 era, the legends were very rare. You know what I'm saying? Because them legends was built, you dig? They really was built. So that's what makes that era different. That's what makes the comparison. This is why having a nostalgia and being able to compare the nostalgia really means a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because we're able to see, look, this is what hip hop was. When hip hop first came out, cool. You had your basic ABC rhyme, and then the rhymes started getting more intricate. When you had people like Big Daddy Kane, Rakim, etc. You know what I'm saying? It started getting more interesting, but it's stuck to the goddamn source. You feel me? It's stuck to the source. And for my next point, is that the skills of the game, they did not disappear to keep it all the way stacked. It just shifted. So again, the skills of hip hop did not disappear. It just shifted. You dig? You know, lyrical complexity used to dominate the game. It used to be strictly off of skills. Just like I said before, you had to be OD nice. But you know what skills may look like right now? Skills may be melodic. You can control your voice melodically. Skills include being emotional vulnerable, where you gotta cry your heart, where you gotta cry your heart out. You feel me? Because every rapper want to be a singer now. You know what I'm saying? We gonna keep it all the way it's that. You know, it might look like today in today's era, skills might look like branding intelligence. You knowing how to brand. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's only certain artists that still push conceptual boundaries. You know what I'm saying? Or stick to the craft, like I said prior. And that's artists like Kendrick Lamar. He sticks to the conceptual boundary. J. Cole. He's like I say, he still values lyricism. You know what I'm saying? Lyricism. He still values lyricism. You dig? You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna show you the difference. The difference is with that is that they coexist along melodic trap. rage beats. You feel me? And internet native styles. You feel me? They can grab that. You know what I mean? The ecosystem is really diversified. It really is. Mainstream visibility doesn't equal total representation now. In hip hop, it just doesn't equal total representation, and that's the total fact. You know what I'm saying? It's only, like I say, it's only certain people that stick to the script. It really only certain people that stick to the script. And I'm gonna tell you now at another point that I'm about to get into. And this, matter of fact, folks, we're gonna get into it right now, right? I've been going on long enough on the other topic. We're gonna get into it right now. The other point that I'm about to get into is the culture shifted because society shifted. The hip hop culture shifted because of society, in which, yes, the hip hop culture had to adapt. You know, and what does hip hop do? Hip hop is a reflection of the environment. It literally mirrors the it literally mirrors the environment. You feel me? In today's world, that's hyper digital. Think about it. Think what I said. People, get on your technology. Hyper digital, attention fragmented, image driven, brand focused. That's what hip hop is right now. I'm gonna repeat that. Hyper digital, attention fragmented, image driven, and brand focused. And of course, the music is going to reflect that. Y'all following me? Y'all with me? The music really reflects the time right now. You feel me? Earlier eras in them 90s, 2000s, it dealt with hip hop as far as skills and all of that. That shit dealt with structural inequality, street survival, political tension. This is what you heard in the hip hop when it came down to skills and when it came down to people talking. They really talked about what was going on. You feel me? Even though all of these things are still going on right now with structural inequality, political tension, street survival, all of that did not go nowhere. It is still, literally, it is still going on right now. But the problem is, it doesn't grab the people no more. Again, it's nothing shocked. Nobody's shocked. Nobody is surprised to hear certain thing. Everything is still easy access. You know what I'm saying? So yes, like I said, those things still exist. You feel me? But what do we do with the new things that I just said? You know what I'm saying? What do we do with the new things? You feel me? What do we do with mental health? Huh? What do we do with when they talk about fame anxiety, online identity, isolation and hyperconnectivity? You huh? What do we do with that now? To the older listeners, that emotional tone, can feel softer. It can. To younger listeners, it feels honest. Y'all see the difference? You see the balance? You see the difference? The subject matter didn't disappear. It evolved. I gotta call the spade a spade. So we're gonna talk about what's going on right now. Again, the subject matter didn't disappear. It evolved. So that's what hip hop literally is in this era right now when it talks about the culture, the hip hop culture in this era right now. It didn't disappear. It just evolved. You dig? Now I gotta get to my other point. Now the point number 9 I got is, so what actually destroyed hip hop? Could you tell me? What actually destroyed hip hop? Let me know what you saying. Put it in the comment section. What actually destroyed hip hop? And you know what I got to say to what actually destroyed hip hop? Nothing destroyed hip hop. It industrialized, it globalized, it digitized, and it scaled. And when art scales, it changes everything. You dig? It does. You know, hip hop went from movement to market, subculture to infrastructure, local energy to global commodity. Y'all got what I said? Again, Hip hop went from movement to market, subculture to infrastructure, local energy to global commodity. That transition created tension. You dig? That transition created tension. New fans celebrate accessibility. The new fans want to be able to go on something and see you literally at that point. When it was the 90s, 2000, you didn't have access to your artists like that. You feel me? You had to wait till that artist put out something, a DVD came out, a news clip, and you had something. So it gave the value of the artist a different type of feel, a different type of value, because now you really are a celebrity. At the end of the day, celebrities, everybody shouldn't have access to a celebrity. It's the point why you a celebrity. It's the point why you are going in certain directions or you live in certain places, because what? Everybody can't have access to you. You dig? And that's where the game goes right now. You feel me? And my next point to y'all is, I have a deeper question. What do you miss from hip hop? Huh? What is it that you miss? Yeah, I'm talking to y'all people. What do you miss? Because when someone says hip hop is worse, they're usually missing one of three things. And follow me, right? One thing that they're usually missing when people say hip hop is worse is skills. Is skills. The dense bars, the complex rhyme schemes, the wordplay dominance. You know why? Because that's hip hop. You dig? That's what a rap is supposed to be. Number two, authenticity. Stories that feel lived in and not manufactured. Stories that we could sit back and listen and be like, oh my God, I felt that. Or I've been through that. Or it really makes you feel something. Like hip hop used to be like R&B, you feel me? You know, when you heard that R&B shit, you might be going through something with your girl, or girl, you might be going through something with your man. In this era, you might be going through something with, if you a female, you might be going through something with your female. If you a male, you might be going through something with your male or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Certain R&B songs gave us that feel. Certain hip hop songs gave us that feel. Like when LL had the "I Need Love." You feel me? When X had "How's It Going Down." You feel me? When Hove had "Hard Knock Life." You feel me? Certain things we felt when Biggie had "Juicy." You know what I'm saying? It's just certain shit that grabbed us. You know what I mean? And the third point that I got to that is meaning. Yes, meaning. Social commentary that feels urgent. Not again. Social commentary that feels urgent. Nothing feels urgent no more. People want the truth. And all three of these points that I'm giving, they do still exist in hip hop. They really do. It's just not, everything is just not worth the algorithm now. You know what I'm saying? It's not that it doesn't exist. And the ones that are still on that type of time, they have a hard time breaking into the algorithm. You feel me? It's not algorithm worthy. To hence to where these corporate organizations will look at that. Well, you could be speaking the truth. But that boardroom will sit there and talk about, oh no, we can't make money off this. Yes, you're speaking the truth, but no, it's just we can't put it on TikTok. You know what I'm saying? It can't go viral. We can't just take this piece and make our microwave buck off you. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Like this is the game. You feel me? And maybe because that's where everything is, maybe these points are the real shift in hip hop. You feel me? Hip hop used to come find you. Now you gotta go find it. Damn, that was fire. Hip hop used to come find you. Now you gotta go find hip hop. Ain't that yo? Ain't that ain't that crazy? We gotta go find hip hop, right? So I know y'all stuck with me through my rants. So I gotta conclude. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving my conclusion. And My conclusion to this is that hip hop, it wasn't destroyed. It wasn't. It just grew up. It wasn't really destroyed. It just grew up. Every era, every era in music believed that it was that peak. Believe, this is the best joint. This is da 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 da. You think people that was around with Ron Isley and all of them old school people, Muddy Waters, Etta James, all of these old school people, you think they didn't feel like they had the best era? You don't think so? You know, every generation thinks the next one diluted something. You know what I'm saying? Every generation feels, oh, nah, y'all did this, that, and third. We do it, this, that, and fifth. You know what I'm saying? The 90s, 2000s ever went through that with the 80s, 90s people. You know what I'm saying? Like we just got to keep it all the way real. You feel me? But at the end of the day, hip hop has survived. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop survives, and that's commercialization. You know what I'm saying? Moral panic, political backlash, technology, and how technology changed. Hip hop is still here, no matter what. So no matter what changed, it's still here. Hip hop is more global, it's more diverse, and actually it's financially more lucrative now. You know what I'm saying? It really is, just because it became it became a business. You know what I'm saying? Is everything great in hip hop right now? Hell no. Hell no. But at the end of the day, we got to keep it real. Hip hop was never all great to begin with. You know what I'm saying? What changed isn't the existence of the skill or depth. What changed is the spotlight on hip hop, the cameras. You know what I'm saying? Like for example, I'm gonna just give a prime example. When it comes down to basketball, like when the Rucker, 155th, the Mecca of street ball, damn near, when the Rucker was the Rucker. You know what I'm saying? When it was lines and lines and lines and lines and lines around the block. You feel me? It was fire. Nobody complained. It was people on the gates. You seen it everywhere. But as soon as they brought cameras in, as soon as they brought ESPN in, it changed everything. Now you can't smoke weed in the park no more because they got cameras there. They want to point this image for, I ain't gonna say for whitey, for the corporate. They wanted to paint an image. So that changed. That changed everything. The spotlight. That changed it even with ball. So of course it's gonna change it. It's gonna change it with music. The mainstream wave right now can feel repetitive. You know what I'm saying? It can really feel repetitive when it comes down to hip hop, because everybody could go mainstream. Everybody could do this, that, and the third. It's nothing actually that special. You feel me? The underground with hip hop, it feels hidden. It feels like it's OD underground, because the hip hop artists, they literally get no light right now if it's not mainstream. I promise you, they it's like one of those, you gotta, if you know, you gotta go find it. You feel me? But ultimately, yes, the hip hop culture ultimately is still alive. This is why we still get hip hop. It just operates under a different umbrella right now. It operates under different rules. You feel me? So what destroyed hip hop? Again, it goes back to what destroyed hip hop. Maybe it should be a better question. Maybe the question should be, are we willing to explore what it became? Fuck what it destroyed. Are we willing to explore what it became? So, is hip hop dead? Is hip hop gone? Or is it still very much alive and kicking? Do we blame the OGs in hip hop for the way the music goes now? Do we blame corporate? Or do we just evolve? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of crazy because just like with clothing, just like with the clothing in hip hop, that 90s 2000 era, a nigga couldn't wear tight shit. A nigga couldn't put on a dress. A nigga couldn't wear a purse. You dig? It just, it wasn't happening. Nowadays, it happens. Nowadays, it's accepted. And it's sad because that's not hip hop. Well, it says that it's not hip hop. You know, I'm one of those that look at certain shit and be like, nah, that's not hip hop. I stick to the script. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I feel if you can't rap in a cipher, nigga, you're not a rapper. If you can't rap on the spot or ain't got no bars in the deck, you're not a rapper. If you can't even remember a verse from what you wrote, you're not a rapper. And the problem is a lot of rappers is trying to be singers now, so ain't no fucking way you could do that in a cipher. A lot of rappers need auto tunes to put the joint together, so ain't no way you could do that in a cipher. You feel me? You know what I mean? But we had to just come today, pause, to talk about the hip hop. We're gonna talk about hip hop. You know what I'm saying? That's what we had to come to talk about today. I appreciate y'all time. I appreciate you giving me your time. Again, put whatever in the comment section. I want to hear what you think about hip hop. Dead ass. You know what I'm saying? I really want to hear what y'all think about hip hop because hip hop still shapes lives. It still is one of the biggest genres in music that's out there right now. You know what I'm saying? So what do you think changed hip hop after I say all my points? What do you think? I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you haven't been here before, welcome back if you still have been here. You know what I'm saying? But it's the Think Big It All, Think It All show. Again, if you ain't thinking big, you thinking small. Pause. It's your boy, Thinkbiggoldie. You know me. I need you to like, hype, comment, subscribe, and hit that button OD until you what? OD. We out of here, people. Appreciate you.